So before I go see the movie that shall not be named, I'm going to talk about another ungodly abomination that came out on DVD recently. Tom and Jerry, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I know that a lot of other reviewers have been talking about this film recently. In fact, my friend Saberspark made an excellent video on it, and you should definitely go check it out. I think it's one of his best edited and funniest videos. I watched this crap with him and our friend Hirosashii, and man, it's one of the weirdest things to ever exist. I love Tom and Jerry. It's my favorite classic cartoon. But what it's become with these straight-to-video releases is just really sad. I also like Willy Wonka. While it's not one of my favorite films, it's definitely a childhood staple for many people, even though it's over 40 years old now. So far, this is the only other movie adaptation of the story besides the Tim Burton film. And this makes that look good! Even parodies of Willy Wonka and stuff like Futurama and Family Guy are better and funnier. This is just a play-by-play animated adaptation, but way worse. This is like, you know how I feel about live-action adaptations of animated properties? This is like the opposite of that. And it's just as bad! Even though this does stay pretty close to the original film and the events that play out, there are a couple of big differences that do stand out. Mainly being Slugworth and how he's a lot more villainous, and he chases around Tom and Jerry throughout the film. There's a point where he sings the I Want It Now song to Charlie and Tom and Jerry in this surprisingly creative sequence that actually reminds me a lot of the Big and Loud sequence from Cats Don't Dance. It also doesn't make sense that Slugworth isn't telling the characters that he's not trying to harm Charlie or is actually evil. Even Spike, the dog, who works for Wonka and helps Slugworth, didn't know his true intentions. Oh yeah, and Spike's voice doesn't sound anything like the original, of course. He's actually voiced by Spike Brandt. So Spike is voiced by a guy who is also named Spike. And what? Spike Brandt also directed this film? What the fuck? Then there's the fact that Tom and Jerry are in this film. The Tom and Jerry stuff seems really unneeded. It's just them doing their usual shtick, but worse. There are some visual gags that are reused from previous shorts, and the animation just isn't as impactful. I also think that Tom's scream is terrible in this. I'm too used to the original screams that nothing can come close. The animation overall is very hit and miss. There are points where it looks alright, but as you may have known by looking at the internet lately, there are a lot of weird faces. It's like the animators messed up in certain areas and tried over-animating and trying to overcorrect themselves in others. It makes the characters look off-model and inconsistent. I get it if you want to make something fun and interesting with animation, but this just makes it look terrible. As far as other strange things to point out, there's the boat scene, which you may have seen floating around. It's definitely weird and creepy. There's a lot of inflation in this movie, not just the blueberry scene, but there's more than that. There's anthropomorphic cats walking around wearing clothes, but Tom is naked. There's this weird beady-eyed child. There's the voice of Wacko singing the Candyman song, which just feels very uncomfortable. And there's a Droopy cameo where he gets arrested, which is probably the funniest part of this movie. I can't believe Droopy is going to prison. But yeah, this crossover is just terrible. It's something that never should have existed. This is the thing that should not be. Pure imagination? More like pure abomination. This is what Satan uses to torture animators to work on. Just a constant stream of Tom and Jerry crossovers for all eternity. That's what animator hell is like. So yeah, no sir, I did not like this. And as I said in the beginning, a lot of other reviewers have talked about this, and my friend Saberspark did an excellent video on it, so definitely go check that out. So if you have seen this pile of festering garbage, tell me down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, by now we're getting a bit used to winter. We're like soldiers in the middle of a campaign, growing hardened to discomfort and better able to take